Because I had just been kind of playing around with Facebook ads, and I'm like, I'm going to try something different. And so I pulled the user ID of this individual. I pulled his profile picture off of his profile. I created an ad that spoke just to him using only his user ID, and I created a little YouTube video and said, hey Gary, this is what I do, this is how I do it.
Woo!
Here's a number and an email, and oddly enough, I don't know if you remember this, I get an email back saying, what did you just do? We just need to talk. So long story short, we had a quick chat, put me in touch with his VP, and within just a couple of weeks, I got an offer to work in Manhattan at VaynerMedia. They had just started opening up their paid media division, and I mean, long story short, unfortunately, it didn't all work out, and that's probably better for the both of us. But I remember all this kind of happening in slow motion, and one thing that kind of just stood out to me was the fact that A, he responded, and B, he was just so cool about the entire process. Now think about that. Fast forward a couple years later, and y'all know kind of the background a little bit. Took his parents' wine business from $3 million to $60 million in 5 years. Now runs VaynerMedia, one of the hottest agencies in the world, alongside being one of the most prolific speakers around and multiple New York Times best-selling author, Gary Vaynerchuk. It's an incredible personal brand. We all probably know him because of the Ask Gary V
Show!
Everybody get on your feet!
Love you, Gary!
Thank you so much for such an unbelievable welcome. Actually, we've been talking backstage, and I guess I'm gonna actually see how you guys react to this. As I've been kind of prepping for this talk, following the hashtag, following the momentum over the last couple weeks, and now with such a warm welcome, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I kind of spent the 73% of this talk on stuff that you've seen on YouTube or have seen me before do. So I'm of the mindset of possibly going into a complete hour of Q&A.
Ooh. Oh my God.
I can also give a talk. Why don't we do this way? How many people would like to start lining up and go into Q&A, see where that takes us, and then I'll do a talk on the back end if that's not the right direction. Show of hands.
Do it.
Oh no!
Fucking backfire.
Your plan.
All right. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why don't I start riffing a little bit? Why don't the people that want to ask questions actually line up and start getting behind the mics? And maybe I'll create some fucking weird Toronto hybrid of fucking. All right. So. Let me start talking about some of the stuff that's interesting to me right now. I think that one thing that everybody in this room should be pondering, and one thing that I'm becoming extremely fascinated by, is that I'm fascinated by the fact that really I'll be able to do this for the rest of my life, and I'll be able to continue to build businesses that are successful, and yet it's just basically the same shit over and over, which is if you go and dissect what I'm about to talk about for an hour now and go watch a 2009 talk, it's basically the same exact strategy. The only difference is that I've put in the time and the effort to understand the contextual differences of the places that we're actually paying attention to. So if this talk was about how I built my library in the beginning back in 2001, I would still be talking about the one thing that I think connects all of us, which is I don't care what you do here or what your ambition is to solve the world's problems, to start a business, to whatever it may be, a B2B business, a B2C business, a product, a service. The number one thing we all battle for, and the number one North Star that everybody in this room should understand, is it's all about attention. Attention is the asset. Once you have the attention, then what you say, what you do, what you put out, the creative, is the variable of you being massively successful or nobody giving a fuck, right? And so the thing that I've been doing is very simply not being romantic about where the attention is. I would have loved for it to have stayed on Twitter forever. I moved first, I moved best, I was one of the 20 most followed people on it, and had the world frozen in 2011 and stayed still, and that played out, I would have been in a very nice spot. I didn't want to put in the hours from 1 to 4 in the morning, figuring out social cam and Vine, which then gave me the strategies and the abilities to be good at Snapchat and Instagram video. But I always know that it is completely irrelevant, everything I've done up to this moment, if I want to be successful and if I want to be in a place where I'm blessed with the fact that people want to come and see me talk. So, you know, really it's quite scary to me. Well, I'm thrilled to layer on top of it, but the punchline, and literally I could say this and leave because it's the only thing I believe in, which is you need to understand where the attention is. The better your product or service is, the more successful you're going to be. Because I promise you one thing, there's no marketing strategy or tactic that I'm going to be able to tell you that if your product is shit, it's not going to work, right? So it's better if your thing is good, your wine store, your book, your sneaker, your SaaS product, it's better if your thing is good. However, the punchline of everything I believe in and the things that have given me opportunities to be successful is where is the attention right now that is underpriced? And that's a very important variable. TV and outdoor and billboards and Google AdWords and all this stuff, they still work. They just don't work as well for the time and financial allocation as the moment when they were in their prime. Facebook works ridiculously well right now if you're an actual practitioner of it. And in 36 months, it won't work as well because it will be more expensive to achieve the same exact result as you do today. I'm not spending time on Musical.ly right now for any other reason than if it actually pops and goes mainstream and ages above 8 to 12-year-olds and becomes a platform, because don't forget, just 5 minutes ago, Facebook was only for college kids. If it does that, I want to have the land grab, the 100,000 followers I already have on a platform that's only 8 to 12-year-old girls, you know, will turn into nothing for me, other than maybe go to fucking jail. It's going to turn into nothing for me unless it ages up. But when it does, I'm there and I win. My game is quite simple. I want to buy up beachfront property and build the best buildings and restaurants and homes. And as long as I'm right 1 out of 3 times, the ROI was positive for all the work. It blows my mind how many of you in marketing and business drew a line in the sand and did not want to start a Snapchat account earlier this year because you were scared the amount of time and effort that you would put into it wouldn't have a result for you, when you have to realize that's the only thing you should be doing, rinse and repeat on every platform until you have your moment of your arbitrage. I've had 4 to 5 significant moments of this day trading attention. It started in 1996 by actually even having a website. As I look around here, there's a lot of youngsters in the crowd. But for a couple of us that were around back then, in 1994, 5, 6, people debated if the internet was a fad the way we debate a new app being a fad. The whole fucking thing. My dad got made fun of by all his friends that we didn't open a second liquor store, instead we built a website, right? That was the first being right about underpriced attention, because $15,000 to build a website is a hell of a lot less than $1 million to build a liquor store, and that website generated $40 million in sales. In no way would have that liquor store done that. That was the right rub. I did that in tactics by other moves, including email. How many people in this audience have done email marketing in their career? Raise your hands. Wow, awesome. That was awesome. This is going to be even more awesome. In 1997, I had 200,000 people on an email newsletter that had 91.3% open rates. Don't clap for me. I'm no hero. It was just a timing thing. It was because all of you assholes hadn't started email marketing yet. Right? So now that same email is bigger. It's been around for a decade, or 2 decades, and yet it's got 31.7% open rates, right? I mean, the open rates is one thing. I think it had at one point like 59% click in the email.